For those seeking further in-depth information concerning the Church of Christ movement founded in the early 1800s by Thomas and Alexander Campbell, Barton W. Stone, and Walter Scott, please contact Christian Answers of Austin, Texas. Free newsletters and other information on this subject are available by simply calling or emailing us. Access our online videos on Church of Christ and other Campbellite movements on Yahoo Video. Once on the Yahoo Video's homepage, put Larry Wessels in the search box and click Enter. To see the entire 22-hour debate between Bob L. Ross, the author of Campbellism, Its History and Heresies, and the nationally known Church of Christ preacher Bill Jackson, go to Yahoo Video.
We intend to point to the teaching of the New Testament on the matter. All right, Bill, I flashed Garland Elkins up here on the Restoration Leaders Restoring the Church. That's an utterance of today. Now, I want you to tell us if that utterance is the truth. And if not, will you take the verse of that side and pronounce it false? Let's have number 13, brother, right quickly. Look here at Bill Jackson now. Whatever man of the Restoration Movement, or whatever man of today Mr. Ross may cite, if the utterance is of truth, we intend to point to the teaching of the New Testament on that matter. All I have to do is show the point is of the New Testament origin. All right, what more could we ask? If Bill keeps his promise, he will outdo Oral Roberts for miracles. We'll have a new head of the miracle business. What it means is, number one, if the utterance quoted from men of the past and of today is of the truth, then Bill will verify it as of New Testament origin. Now the obverse is, if the utterance quoted from men of the past and of today is not the truth, then Bill will acknowledge that it is not of New Testament origin. For example, if the utterance alleges that men such as Campbell, Stone, and Scott restored the church, such as was alleged by Garland Elkins, yet none of them was ever baptized in order to obtain the remission of sins, then Bill will either defend it by pointing to the New Testament on the matter, else he will acknowledge that the allegation cannot be defended by pointing to the New Testament and quit pointing to a road sign in Massachusetts or to a Baptist over in England or something like that to divert attention and to try to make fun of the Baptists or of the people up in New England or whatever. Now let's just go on to the next chart, brother. Let's have the next one there. While he's finding that, let me say that what he said concerning the name, he said, well, on that Restoration Movement chart I had up here, he said the Bible is not an 18th, 19th century book. Well, now, Bill, you get your name out of the 1611 King James Bible, a mistranslation. Word church, Alexander Campbell wouldn't even use it in Living Oracles. And you and your friend Brother Jerry over here, y'all say, oh, we like the word church. Well, King James is the one that made them put it in the Bible. He dictated that they do it. And Alexander Campbell came along and wrote an article against it. In his magazine called Christian Baptist, he denounced the translation of ecclesia, the Greek word, by the English word church. And Campbell published a New Testament called the Living Oracles, and he used the word congregation. Now, he's the one going to a 17th century book in order to get a name, but he won't give me one up here for Restoration Movement, which Alan Heyer says is the church. Now, why won't he do it? You know why he won't do it. He can't even give a scriptural name for the one he's got. Now, give me the chart, brother. All right, look here. Did he do anything with this? How could we agree that Thomas Campbell, Alexander Campbell, Barton Stone, Walter Scott were saved and members of the church? That the Restoration Movement led by these men restored the church? That these men were loyal to the will of God? What did he do with this? Well, he took a little trip up to Massachusetts and read a road sign. That's all he did. Now let's go on further with our next chart here, brother. He said all he'd have to do is prove it's something older than 1763. Well, now, is that so? Well, what are you going to prove about your church, Bill, that's older than 1763 that will prove it to be a church?
1 minute.
You can't do it. Now look, here's this restoration movement. Which one is the restored church? We've got all branches of them here chopped up for your benefit. There's the disciples, the Christians, the Church of Christ, David Lipscomb style, the independent Christians, the anti-instrumental music group, the instrumental music group, the anti-orphan home group, the benevolent group, the no-cup group, the no-located preachers group, the located preachers groups, the liberals on divorce, the Herald of Truth, the Image magazine, the Truth magazine, and then we've got the Blessed Spiritual Sword over here. And then we've got these fellows down here, Crossroads, Boston, Burke Road, Neo-Calvinism, Garrett Ketcherside, Examiner Magazine, Ensign Unity Movement, Neo-Charismatic, Premillennialist. Which one of them speaks where the Bible speaks? Which one of them keeps silent where the Bible's silent? All of them say, we are the Restoration Movement, we're the Church of Christ. Which one is it? Well, I know he's going to say, oh, you Baptists are divided, so I guess that benefits him on that. Thank you.
Well, that was some pretty dynamic debating right there, wasn't it? Of course, I'm objective and non-biased, but you know, I thought Bob did a great job on that particular footage there.
He never did explain on Morris and how that he got up here and said Morris was not talking about those who are sons of God when the title of the sermon itself asked the question, do a Christian's sins damn his soul? He never did deal with Albert Gardner's statement, which is similar to that one by Morris. He never did deal with Hoyt Chastain's statement, which is similar to that one of Morris. He never did try to get up and explain how that he misused when one signs a civil document required by the state that one is president of the board of trustees, that then he charges that we have a president in the Church of Christ. He rejects the idea of obedience, but never did explain Romans 1:5 and Romans 16:26, where obedience to the faith and of faith is required. He never did deal with Revelation 22:14, right at the end of the Bible. Blessed are those that do his commandments, that they may have a right to the tree of life and may enter in through the gates into the city. He has not touched 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 7 through 9, concerning the Lord's return. He'll come in flaming fire, taking vengeance on those who know not God and obey not the gospel of Jesus Christ, who shall suffer everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and the glory of his power. My plea is for Mr. Ross, whom we have to love indeed because we love the souls of all men, that he believe the gospel, that he obey the gospel in every one of those features that God has placed in it: faith, repentance, confession, and baptism into Christ for the remission of sins. We'll be remembering him and praying about him to that end. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
To see the entire 22-hour debate between Bob L. Ross, the author of Campbellism, Its History and Heresies, and the nationally known Church of Christ preacher Bill Jackson, go to Yahoo Video. For those seeking further in-depth information concerning the Church of Christ movement founded in the early 1800s by Thomas and Alexander Campbell, Barton W. Stone, and Walter Scott, please contact Christian Answers of Austin, Texas. Free newsletters and other information on this subject are available by simply calling or emailing us. Access our online videos on Church of Christ and other Campbellite movements on Yahoo Video. Once on the Yahoo Video's homepage, put Larry Wessels in the search box and click Enter.